Okay, this is my struggle too, and it's this is probably a way of to have a little bit of therapy while I drive. This is what it looks like. This where I'm at, middle of nowhere. Minhag is probably the biggest struggle I have. There's several minhagim represented when I went through Garut, and that's probably the biggest struggle that I've always had is because I see good in all the minhagim. I see good in Ashkenazim. I see good in Sephardi. I see good in Yemenite. I see good in it all. Good. I see good in all aspects. And that's probably the biggest struggle we have. Not just me, but my wife too. We both kind of have to struggle with that. And not being born into Judaism, truly figuring out what minhag to attach oneself to. And that's probably the hardest thing. Of course, a student of Hasidic literature, and that's very important. Study Breslov and Chabad, and I study other parts of Hasidic literature as well. So we all know that according to we know Hasidism developed in Eastern Europe. And we know it was vastly influenced by Sephardim. However, in the old witness hall, they came to my house once, never came back. Scared them away, I think. I said they would make pretty good Jews, but we'll see. So, it's just, you worry, not worry, sorry, the brain's drifting when they stay on task. So how to put it? Oh yeah, so like good example, Sephardim. The Sephardic kitchen is so much easier than the Ashkenazi kitchen. The Ashkenazi kitchen it's doable. We could do it. It's funny, our kitchen is set up according to Ashkenazim, but we follow Sephardim. So obviously we have dishes separated for dairy and meat, and silverware and pots and pans. However, we have glass plates for the meat plates. So worst case scenario, if we cannot follow that, if there's like all the dairy dishes were dirty, we could just use the glass dishes because glass doesn't absorb. Also, interesting ruling done by Bahaim. I'm a big fan of Rabbi Bahaim, and he says, which is true. He says metal does not absorb. Pasking off of him concerning those things at times, and of course, Baruch Hashem, we have a mikvah, our own mikvah. So worst case, we just develop our dishes, and and that'd be it. So this is I open this up for discussion. I would love people, please, any recommendations in this, anything you want to show, anything you want to, good points considering these things, because this is, like I said, this is a major struggle, because when you see good in it all, you don't want to reject none of it. You want to be like, oh man, this is so cool, and not necessarily so cool, but it's just so and that's the whole thing. Judaism isn't monolithic either. It's not like the Catholic Church or even the Protestant denominations. As long as Torah halakha, that's it. You're technically Jewish. Um, so that's probably um, that's one good thing about it. And Bahaim did say something very interesting. He said that people could go back and forth from Nusar Tefillah, which I don't necessarily agree with, but he has some good points concerning those things too. So I do think you should stick with one thing, but at the same time, when all the vastness of Judaism and all the literature that's available and all the good things about all of Judaism, it is sometimes hard to like, wow, I wish I was this or I wish I was that. I wish, like good example, look at this rural landscape. Okay. I'm not saying Sephardim or are not in rural landscapes, but it's where it's based out of. It's based out of, Spain and also the Mediterranean. This is not the Mediterranean. This is so much like Siberia in the winter. It's cold, or Ukraine, but at the same time, have I been to Siberia? No, I haven't. But it's this the way it looks out here is obviously will land more to Ashkenazi, and I think at the same time, those things should reflect to where you live at the same time. You gotta consider dress and whatnot. And it's funny, it's like Amish here too. And where I live, and I think the Amish are they're very decent people for the most part. Not necessarily racist, but they don't know enough black people. I will say that it's that's probably the biggest thing. They don't know many black people, and so they're probably not as per se nice. Um, but it's getting your face shown. Um, so definitely living in the culture, you see, why you would want to focus on, more or less things like, Hasidic literature and especially being rural life. Poor peasants in Europe, no poor peasants anywhere. It matches anywhere where there's poor peasants. Um, but I know a good friend, or he's a rabbi, and he says choose Breslov, and just have Sephardic practices, and we look at Shalom Arush, he's Sephardi, and you dress like Hasidic wear and Hasidic garb, and he said have the best of both worlds, and I see the benefit in that too, but at the same time, is that the Sephardi really can it really touch people who are from their ancestries from Germany, France, Poland, those areas in this region. A strong German population. A lot of Germans where I live. Actually, my wife, her father's family is German, and her mother's family is British and Pennsylvania Dutch. So, very Germanic people, but very good people. But can Hasidism affect, from a Sephardi point of view, affect those people in a positive way? And especially living out here, it's funny. talking about this, my new neighbor, he is he's he's Jordanian, and it's funny. I'm not in any ways a Zionist per se. No, by no means. Um, I do lean one of the Rabbonim that I'm under, one of the rabbis I'm under, isn't, two of them actually aren't really Zionists in that sense. They're not, they're not, they don't, I know one would say he's more anti-Zionist and the other one would probably say he's a non-Zionist. I'm not sure. I kind of favor both of them. But at the same time, do I think Jews should be getting killed in the land? Of course not. Like, House of Shalom. No, no way. Um, so we're going to be driving through another small town. We're in actually the county right now. We just crossed the county line. We're on the line of Ohio, Michigan now. Just went on the Michigan side. And I'm going to go to a small town called Waldron. Very, very, very small town. Good town, though, for the most part. I never have Baruch Hashem, I never had problems here, but they all know my wife's family. It's funny, their last name is Feather, Fether, like, which comes from Fedor, they were feather makers. One of her uncles, actually, we seen his wedding picture, Uncle Mark, and he had like a afro, like regular afro. So I think somebody was Jewish in their family. Also, the Fedor is Ashkenazim, so definitely her family has most like Ashkenazi roots. So, other things I won't say on this video that I think that might be kind of rude, so I'll keep my mouth shut. And my wife would kill me, so I'll just be quiet about it. But yeah, we have a child on the way. So Baruch Hashem, a boy, our first son at 38. Oh my gosh, I need to get in shape. But yeah, this is the booming metropolis of Waldron. Really nice people here, and really, being the only Jew in this area is like, wow, or known Jew, they probably have some people hanging around, and it is what it is. So, driving through Walden. Oh, there's a black dude. There's a black dude in Walden with a beard. He has like a Moses beard. That's cool. I knew there were some biracial people here. I just didn't know where. But biracial family, interracial family like me. But yeah, they're driving the 4-wheeler and with all the kids. That's fun. And Baruch Hashem, it's always good to see mixed race families, especially doing well in rural areas, because that was always a big worry of mine. And it's a lot better than what it used to be, and a lot of people more accepting to that. And that was always a big, big worry of mine, is being in the rural area with an interracial family. I'm not saying there's no jerks. There's jerks everywhere, but so going back in the open road again, we just passed their high school in Waldron. So yeah, the Jordanian guy is real nice, really nice guy. We spoke, and he said we should have tea sometimes. I said, sure, why not? Tea would be good. And yeah, we'll see when that happens. That good day comes. So going back to the struggle, like, good example. I love challah. Challah is a tradition of Ashkenazi the way it's braided. And it's another thing. Sephardim, they usually, some do it now, but it's not a Sephardic practice to have braided challah. That is, I actually, other European countries have similar um, breads that are actually idolatry or point to idolatry, especially the Catholic Christian churches. So this is where like, well, but at the same time, I like is the challah is something special about it. But at the same time, it's not obviously the same challah that we had in the Beth Mikdash, but it's still it's good bread. Um, America, they got a huge American flag. This is as you guys see rolling down the road. But yeah, so so yeah, it's not a Sephardic practice. You can do it, but it's not a practice of Sephardi. At least that type of challah. They have bread depending on the where at, and it's all called challah, but it's not the braided Ashkenazi egg bread. It differs from community to community. So challah is good. So that's a struggle. The garb too. The garb that lets you know, and I'm a huge fan of Ben Ish Hai and a huge fan of Sephardim and whatnot. But I can't walk down the road looking like the Ben Ish Hai. I walk down the road looking like the Ben Ish Hai. It's it's curtains for me. It's like dun, dun, dun. It's like, dude, this dude got death wish or something. Is in rural America like this, Muslims aren't looked favorably upon. And if I wear a turban, that's what they're gonna think I am, and that's dun, dun, dun. But that's not something that needs to be done today. You look in his Sephardi shul, so Bet Knesset, people are dressed more normal than Ashkenazi. I mean, when I mean normal, you will see someone in the maybe in not a t-shirt, but like a sports shirt, a sports shirt with a collar, and two buttons on top. You see, it's a lot more lax in that sense. One thing is Sephardim does appear to be more organic than Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi is actually more theoretical, dealing with law to Rashi and Tosfos and different things of that sort, where Sephardim are more rational in the sense of how halakha is used. Also, how the influence of people around. And I think, personally, if we look at Hungarian jewelry, I was studying upon a Hungarian a particular group from Hungary, they're Hasid, and they're not around anymore. People are trying to revitalize the group, but the group it's still around. Actually, it's doing well. Sorry, Stefanach, I think, or something like that. But it's the way they influence the community around them. It was almost like it was very like Sephardic like, but you have to understand Hungary is right next to Italy and right next to the Ottoman Empire. So it's real close. So definitely you can see Sephardic influences. Probably see Sephardic influences amongst the Hungarian communities. In that sense, to help see if you see that Feather Hardwood, that's my wife's family, that's her cousin, first cousin. And So yeah, so definitely you would see. I guess you would see some like influence on that. Let's look at the Rambam. The Rambam, affected the world with his philosophy. The Guides and Perplexes, very good, very good work. And one of my favorite works, and I love the Rambam, and I love actually his holistic rulings too. Um, at the same time, ooh, it's cloudy, but it looked like tornado weather a little bit, but it's not bad. It's beautiful. It's like it's the country, but the Rambam, I like the Rambam's rulings, but it's most Sephardim influenced outside their boxes, and we see that with some of the Hungarian communities. When I was reading about this particular Rav, people still the Greek Orthodox Church or the Orthodox Church, and not Greek, obviously, probably Hungarian Orthodox, a branch off of Russian Orthodox somewhere. And they said that even to this day, they go to his grave and decorate it, even though his body was taken to Israel. So it's like, wow, they still to this day, and that's influence. That's such a strong influence to go outside your religious border and have the Christians even to help you, and that's how to know that you are such a holy man and an Orthodox church at that. Wow, Baruch Hashem. You know that's being a light to the nations, being a good Jew, and so um so yeah, so you see examples like that, and like, wow, that's cool. Among the Ashkenazi. I watched this lecture. It said Ashkenaz Sephardim was the Judaism of the future, and the Rav on there was talking some pretty good things, but he said something that really kind of was good, but it bit me the wrong way. Really thinking about it, he said this. He was talking about Zimmerot, and he said, he says Sephardic Zimmerot are spiritual, where Ashkenazi Zimmerot is all about food. And sure, he's not wrong. However, if you really think about it, the Ashkenazim were persecuted in Europe by the church. We're talking probably scarce food, whatnot, all these things. Thank God you can eat. So it's like, really? Yeah, it's true, but and then you really think about the rationale. Maybe he shouldn't have said it that way. And no one's perfect. No one's perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect. I have a lot of flaws in my life. We all do. And this road's really dangerous. It's because it's so hilly. Where we're getting to is a very hilly area, and it's real beautiful though. It's nice. And that's just the region we're in Michigan. It's a lot of hills in Michigan. Some of your old houses have Michigan wood. So, and I see in that, as being black, I see that amongst Ashkenazi, I agree with that in a sense. Because being black, we just did thank God that we only have food to eat. It wasn't like, we were given pig intestines and pig butt and legs and stuff. Now you definitely being a Jew, now, it's like, wow, just to thank God you can eat is a spiritual act. And thank you for the chicken. Thank you for the fish. And it's one of my favorites in Morose. And it's like, just thank God, because we ain't have nothing. We squat. So So that's where I kind of disagree when it comes to things of that sort. Um, so this is where we see similarities, not just afros and fortified wine, but other things as well. Um, um, what else? The Yemenites, the Tamanim. The main thing is their halakhic. I like about their halakhic rulings. They definitely, you paskin Rambam, you're pretty much paskin Talmud. As what the Ben Ish Hai said, the Rambam is the greatest posek, and you have to take that to heart. That he's even, he's the Rambam's the greatest posek because paskin Talmud. How many people did that? Since the Ganem. Who did it since then? Probably nobody. Now, obviously, that mom, probably passing Mishnah or when it was developed, figuring things out, but, it's, it's like, so I see all these things, and they're all good, and they're all precious to Hashem. And Judaism is precious to Hashem. And, it's all just is good and beautiful. And yes, some things might be obsessive and some things might not be, things have their problems, but, it's still good. And I see good in it all, and that's my struggle. I like to say good Shabbos. I like it. um, I like saying, Masekes Brachas. I like it. I love how Yiddish is pronounced, but I also like how, you look at. I like how Yemenite pronunciation too, Shabbat. I think that's cool. Sephardic pronunciation. Even the Benish Kai's, Iraqi pronunciation was very similar to Yemenite pronunciation. Those pronunciations are real cool. This is a big Amish area. It's an Amish order over here. And, it was one day I was driving home from work when we were staying with my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law is about 2 miles away. And there's cute little Amish girls running down the road, barefoot and all, dusty feet, running down the road. It's just, purity, Baruch Hashem, And, yep, somebody Amish there. They don't like their picture taken out, so. I moved the camera away, give them their privacy, So, but I think they're more liberal. They wear more colors. Like today, I'm not in my Hasidic gear. I'm still in black slacks and white dress shirt, zitziot, always tucked out, and those things. You don't see that amongst, and you only see that really among Ashkenazim. There's some Sephardim do it, but not many. And those Ashkenazim, more of an Ashkenazim thing. And so, like I said, you see good in it all. And I know, doing research in Israel, you see, not blended minhags, but somewhat of a blended minhag, where there people wear, and, do different things from other groups as well, not just from Ashkenazim, but from Sephardim and whatnot. They follow several things, and it's definitely big and about Teshuvah movement. And people, even like us who are Guris, our family is Guris, and we don't have no association. And my wife has Ashkenazim distant, but it's not really association if it wasn't like a grandparent. So there's things, Yiddishkeit. She doesn't know Yiddishkeit and things of that sort. So it's, um, which I like Yiddishkeit too. I like it all. You know, and being black, it's funny. The first interracial marriage my mother ever really remembers growing up is this black man, this Jewish woman. And to say all Ashkenazim are racist is kind of a fallacy, I would say. Probably when you get more into Orthodox circles, yes, there is some racism. But when you get into more your liberal branches of Judaism, I would say more or less, early conservative are pretty much like Rambamists. If you do the research, you will realize how Rambamic the early conservative Jews were. They were trying to say, okay, what does the Talmud say? Let's follow it. And a lot of things, like if you look at even the Sim Shalom Siddur, it's pretty much a Rambam Siddur. Obviously, it's missing some things, but it's very stripped now. So, yeah. So this is, if you see a lot of trees, this is where my wife grew up. Actually, one of her ancestors, the Blount, Blount. One of the roads up here, Blount Road. That's my wife's ancestry. And yeah, it's nothing out here. We thought about living out here too. And we thought in the future, maybe we might build a mikvah out here too. But by the time, everything's said and done, my wife, her menstrual cycle might be over, but we got to worry about our children if they get married. And, so we probably build another mikvah out here just for them. They're not hard, but they're not easy to build either. It can be done. It's a lot of work. And I work with people doing these things. So this is a cove. This is Grass Lake Road. And that's the spot on the window. And this is, you see, it's and Green Gables, man. Coming back here like, and then like the trees, and then it's like, wow. You see these trees are old as dirt too, and some of them, and it's scary out here at night. But I stay in the house. They say that DNR let out mountain lions. I believe it. You can definitely do it. Get away with it. Like sometimes deer run across the road. It's a lot of deer. There's actually another Rabbonim I know. He wanted to go hunting, and I still have to bring him back up so he could do it. I really felt bad that we couldn't do it one of the times. Other times he was here. If I fell across a lot of money, I know politically people say, well, you're not allowed to hunt. And he has a video about it. And, something he likes to do, and he's a good friend. And, if I had the money, I would have bought him the license myself. But I don't have the money. We barely scrapping by. But you know what? It's like what I tell everyone when I say this. I'd rather just scrape by knowing that I know truth than to just scrape by and be around a lie. And I'm so serious when I say that. I don't play when I say those words. I'm very serious when I say that because a lie is a lie. And Judaism holds truth personally, I'll say over every religion. So rejecting every religion or follow Torah, follow halakha, that's important. I'd rather do that and reject a lie. I'd rather reject a lie and follow truth. So, here we are. All right, guys. Brooke and Shem, talk to you later.